Hello, and welcome to You Are Your Own Hero. I am Dr. Tassel Faith Shamebrook, and today we are talking about trusting life. And often these topics come in through our Patreon community. If you're interested in that, there's some description down below. So this has been an amazing initiation for me personally over particularly the past 5 years. This understanding, this embodiment, this integration of really trusting life. And it really all started to really come into me because about 5 years ago, my life really seemed to be falling apart in the most painful way possible. It was really like the Tower card in the tarot deck. So 5 years ago was when I really realized I needed to leave my marriage. And this was really the destruction, the devastation of my childhood dream. My childhood dream was to be happily married and live full-time with my children as a mom. That was really my most heartfelt desire. And 5 years ago, it was very clear that that dream was really fading away. And in addition to that dream really disappearing, I was also experiencing almost everyone in my life falling away. So many very difficult, painful emotions that I had not really felt over my lifetime were also coming up. So I really was entering the dark night of the soul, the sacred dark night of the soul. And I was in this very in-between stage that is somewhat the hallmark of the dark night of the soul, where the old life is completely falling away and so much is coming up. It's very painful. And then the new life has really not shown up in any way at all. So we're somewhat existing in this liminal space, this in-between space that can feel very terrifying and very ungrounding. And it was really bewildering to me, this whole time period. So step by step over the past 5 years, I have really understood that I can trust life, that at every step, every stage of my life, what has really served me in the highest and best way has always happened, even though when I might have been experiencing some of the more painful, challenging aspects of this, I may not have really understood that. But upon reflection and looking back, I can see how every very challenging life situation has served my expansion so magnificently. So one of the main things I really want to communicate here is for us all to be able to kind of take a step back and just trust our own life plan. What is happening in your life is your plan. It's Spirit's plan. You are Spirit. Spirit is you. And we can really embrace everything that is happening as if we had chosen it, because we have. And the peace that we can have internally when we adopt this orientation of just this wholehearted acceptance, surrender, and flowing with whatever life is bringing us, wherever life is leading us, is this type of peace is just amazing. We don't have to force anything. We don't have to worry, oh, is something wrong here? Do I need to really drastically shift things? We can just sort of lean back into almost this adventure, this ride, this journey that our soul, that spirit is taking us on. That was our plan before we came into our physical bodies. So I just love the idea to trust the plan, trust life. Your soul has your back. This understanding has helped me so much, particularly over the past 5 years. So I'll just give a few examples of where I have really struggled, where situations have been really, really difficult for me. And if I could, I would have pushed an eject button and just ejected right out of the situation, or even my life, really. At times, these things were so difficult for me. But looking back, I see the treasures that I received from being in these situations. So one of the first examples I'll give is this divorce custody situation that I went through 5 years ago with my ex-husband and my children. And as I said, it really was my lifelong dream to stay married and to be a full-time mom. And this was probably the most painful experience that I've had so far in this lifetime, to give up that dream. And however, now I'm 5 years out from when that whole situation started, and the person I am today compared to the person I was 5 years ago, the expansion of so many aspects of myself has been so profound. And these expansions would have been, they wouldn't be there had I not traversed through this territory. Just a few examples are the level of grace that I had to really step into to move through the divorce and to do what was really highest and best for everyone involved, including my ex-husband and my children. That level of grace and, I would say, selflessness, I didn't really have that before. That really was developed throughout this process. So that was a tremendous gift to have expanded in that way. Another way that this divorce custody situation has benefited me so greatly is it really initiated my spiritual awakening. I had quite a spiritual awakening back in 2012, but it really was 5 years ago that it really stepped up a level. I think because I was seeking so much, because I was in so much pain from my divorce custody situation. And I can even remember, I'll never forget this, the first time I dropped my kids off at my ex-husband's house, and I would not be spending time with them for about 5 days on that time period. And this was the first time I really had ever been away from my kids. I was a stay-at-home mom, and this was really heart-wrenching and harrowing for me to just all of a sudden not be with my kids after being with them their whole lives up till then. And I can remember there was a voice, there was guidance coming in, and I didn't really recognize it as guidance then. I wasn't so attuned to my guidance back then. But the guidance on that day where I dropped my kids off and I went back to my rented house that I had during the divorce, and I was really kind of curled up in a fetal position and just really struggling. But I heard the words, "This is really the start of your spiritual journey." And I didn't even really give it any credence. I didn't really listen to it. It was only looking back that I remembered that I had heard that. And it has been through having a lot of time to myself, because I share custody with my ex-husband, that I have been able to be on this spiritual journey and really further awaken and really clear so much, and just so many benefits of having had this time to myself. And I would not have chosen this. My human would not have chosen this. But I can see now, looking back, that that situation has served me so much, even though it was very painful for my human to come to terms with it. So this is, to me, a really beautiful example of how I can trust life, even when my human is in so much pain and does not want what is happening at all to happen. I can take a step back and trust that my soul has my back, that my soul knows what it's doing, and that whatever is happening is ultimately going to serve me. Another example I'd like to share is my life partner that I have right now. He's absolutely wonderful. And he lives in Canada, and I live here in the United States. And my human would not pick this type of situation at all. My human has really longed for a life partner to be in the same place, to live together and share that type of togetherness. And at the same time, very similarly to the custody divorce situation where I've been basically forced to spend a lot of time alone, it's a similar situation with my life partner. And I can really see how there have been, again, so many treasures of having to spend time on my own, having to do things on my own, that if we were in the same city, that it just wouldn't have happened. For instance, I did a video recently on inner partnership. And it was really in part because of this long distance relationship that I had to, and was really being invited to, go into a much deeper inner relationship with myself. And I never would have done that had my partner and I been in the same place. I just know I wouldn't have. So it's just really cool to see these challenges and then to really see what the gifts have been. And I'm sure that you can think about this in your own life. I think I'll give one more example. I've also talked about this in a video. Recently, my hair has been shedding quite a bit. And this really, in a way, was kind of one of my nightmares. I've always had a lot of challenges around my hair, and I've never had it shed before. And I think it's one of my fears that I could lose all of my hair. So this has felt extremely terrifying to me and quite nightmarish. Now, on the expansive side, what the situation has helped me see is, first of all, gratitude for my hair, gratitude for my body. I can tend to be kind of hard on my body, very judgmental, not appreciating it, wanting it to always look a certain way to measure up to societal standards. And this experience with my hair really just taught me on a very foundational level just to be grateful to have hair, just to be grateful to have my body in its form. It's amazing to have a body. It's amazing to have hair. So the experience has taught me a lot of gratitude that I really didn't have before. I think I was taking my hair for granted. I was taking my body for granted. And it's also really taught me the power of loving my body and being teammates with my body, to talk to my body, to be there for my body, to support my body. And I've been talking to my hair and wanting to support it. So that has been a beautiful expansion, a beautiful gift of this, on the human level, somewhat harrowing experience of losing hair. So these three situations that I've talked about on the human level could seem like sort of bummers, like really difficult, challenging, painful situations. But on the larger perspective, they have all been amazing. They have all gifted me so many treasures for my own expansion. So just a few more points about trusting life. What I notice, and I'm curious if you notice this too, is that when we really tune into our guidance, there is usually a very gentle direction that our guidance is pointing us in, both on a macro level, sort of in general, the direction of our lives in our career or our love life or our family life, and then even on a very micro level, on a moment-to-moment basis as we go through the day. There's also, if we really listen, there's also gentle nudges of sort of what to do next. So I've really been noticing this, and it's been so comforting because my human mind sometimes doesn't always know what to do, right? The thinking mind is sort of grasping about what to do next. But I've really been taking a step back and just tuning in and listening to the macro direction that my life seems to be taking me, and then the micro direction on a more daily, moment-to-moment basis. And I'm curious if you have that experience too and what that is like for you. In other words, another way to say it is I tend to do things without thinking too much. I tend to just let myself be guided by my guidance in my life. A few other points. What seems to be the case is that we can trust life and that we will never be given more than we can handle. It seems that the higher self sort of calibrates situations coming in and feelings arising so that so as not to overload us, that we're always really taken care of in this way. It's never going to be too much what life is showing us. And for instance, sometimes my human would have these fears of, what if everything in my house breaks at once? Then what am I going to do? Sort of time-wise, how to fix that, and financially. But that has never happened. Things just happen just enough to kind of keep you moving forward and expanding you, but never too much to overload you. So that's an aspect of trusting life that I've also really noticed. And another aspect that I've noticed that's interesting to me as well is that things seem to be perfectly orchestrated, even on a daily basis, to serve my highest good and to serve others' highest goods. Just a few examples of this are that my ego, my human, is often attached to, okay, I have this appointment with this person at this time, and that's when it's going to happen. And often I've been noticing that the appointment might get canceled or might be later. And my initial reaction, my human reaction, is a little frustrated, a little thrown off by the change in the schedule. But then when I really tune in, I will notice that it actually is perfect. That change in the schedule was the perfect thing for everyone involved. So I've really just been noticing how everything seems to be orchestrated for the highest and the best. And another point around this is I'm really noticing this orientation that spirit seems to just clear my plate of other people at times so that I can go within. And I tend to be a very social person. I'm a Libra and I really like being with other people. So I often don't really choose to spend time alone, but I notice that spirit seems to almost make other people disappear when spirit really wants to be together with me for my own spiritual growth. So again, I've just been noticing that rather than, say, getting upset or disappointed if someone can't do something with me, I've really been seeing it as no, spirit is clearing time for me right now, for me to be with spirit and to do maybe some inner work or just some self-reflection. So I've really been noticing that too. So I'll make just a couple last points here. And one of these points is all of this is not to say that sometimes we won't be out of our comfort zone in this trusting life adventure that we're on. I would say over the past 5 years, I have been profoundly out of my comfort zone. Probably almost every day I've been out of my comfort zone in what life seems to be inviting me to do, and just having to move through a lot of fears, whether it was leaving my ex-husband and the security of that in a lot of ways, whether it's been starting my entrepreneurial business, whether it's been making these videos, whether it's been entering a really intense partnership with my life partner. All of those things I've had tons of fear around. Oh my goodness, so much fear. Tons and tons and tons. And there's definitely a part of me that is scared to do all these things. But again, I'm trusting life. I'm trusting the invitations that have been extended to me, and I'm taking the invitation and I'm moving forward, and I'm trusting that it's all going to be okay, that I'm going to be supported, that I can do what's being asked of me. And so far, that has been the case. So this idea of it's okay to be out of our comfort zone. And in many ways, it seems like that's actually the perfect place to be. That's where all of the expansion happens. So I'll just close with a couple last points. One of something that has helped me so much when my human mind, thinking mind, is maybe really sad about a particular situation that maybe I wouldn't have chosen, but I do understand it's servicing my soul, is just this prayer to say, I trust that this is happening for my highest and best. And I actually have borrowed this from my life partner, who also is in a divorce situation and is often not with his kids. And he shared that with me, that sometimes when he leaves his kids, he says this to comfort himself, that I trust that this is happening for the highest and best. And I just love that. It still is hard for me when I leave my kids as well. And lots of other things are hard too, but that prayer really helps me. I trust that this is happening for the highest and the best. And the last thing I want to say is, beautiful friends watching this video right now, when you think about all of the amazing, challenging, difficult, often painful situations that you have traversed through in your life, and you think about who you are now, your wisdom, your strength, your connection with spirit, your connection with yourself, your emotional intelligence, all that you know how to do. Are you not amazing? Right? You are, aren't you? Are you not amazing? Are you not a masterpiece of a being on this planet? Yes, you are. You are in large part because of all the expansions that you have been through. And so we can trust life. We can trust life. We can trust that all is happening always for our highest and best, and always for the highest and best of everyone else as well. So thank you so much for being here with me in this video, watching. And if you like the video, please feel free to like it if that's resonant, or subscribe to the channel. And we'd also love to have you in our really amazing Patreon community. So much love to you. So much love to your journey. See you soon. Bye.